The Grand Hall of the Awakening Academy was filled with the nervous energy of hundreds of students. Lin Yichin clutched his hands together, praying for a combat class that would change his life. Beside him, his girlfriend Chen Ya looked toward the stage with an expression of pure greed. The headmaster called out the names one by one as students touched the ancient stone pillar. Cheers erupted as a student ahead of them awakened an A-rank Fire Mage class. Finally, it was Lin Yichin's turn to step onto the shimmering platform. He placed his trembling palm against the cold surface of the awakening crystal. A dull grey light flickered briefly before a single word appeared in the air. Rank Profession Butcher echoed throughout the silent hall. Laughter rippled through the crowd like a wave of poison. Chen Ya stepped back from him as if he were a diseased animal. "We are over, Yichin, because I cannot be seen with a mere meat cutter," she whispered coldly. Lin Yichin walked off the stage, his head bowed as the weight of his useless class sank in. He found a rusty cleaver in his inventory, the only weapon his rank provided. In the academy garden, he sat alone watching his successful peers celebrate from afar. An ant crawled across his shoe, and in a fit of pique he crushed it with his heel. A sharp blood-red notification window suddenly pinged in front of his eyes. Kill confirmed, 1 ant experience gained, 0.1, the system stated in a mechanical voice. Lin Yichin stared at the screen, realizing that even the smallest life form counted toward his growth. He looked down at a line of ants marching through the grass with a new dark intent. Systematically, he began to stomp on every insect he could find in the dirt. The red notifications began to flood his vision, stacking up one after another. After an hour of tireless slaughter, a massive gold and red notification appeared. Level 1 reached. Talent unlocked. God of Slaughter's mastery, the system announced. He felt a surge of raw, violent power coursing through his thin veins. His rusty butcher knife transformed, its edge becoming impossibly sharp and gleaming with a crimson tint. He realized he didn't need to hunt monsters yet. The world was full of tiny prey. By the next morning, Lin Yichin had reached level 5 by clearing out the academy's pest problem. Students walking past him still saw a D-rank loser, unaware of the monster growing among them. Chen Ya appeared again, this time clinging to the arm of the class president, a wealthy S-rank warrior. "Oh look, the butcher is still here," the president sneered, intentionally bumping into Yichin's shoulder. Lin Yichin didn't react, merely looking at the president's neck as if he were visualizing a cut. For a split second, the president felt a shiver of primal fear run down his spine. The announcement for the White Wolf Forest trial boomed over the speakers. This was the first real test for the newly awakened students to prove their worth. Participation was mandatory and the death rate for low ranks was notoriously high. Lin Yichin checked his stats one last time, seeing his attack power had tripled. He saw Chen Ye and the president entering the gate together, laughing about the easy monsters. Laugh while you can, he thought, gripping his cleaver until his knuckles turned white. As he stepped through the portal, the air temperature dropped to a bone-chilling level. He materialized in the middle of a dark thicket, surrounded by the growls of hungry beasts. The slaughter was about to begin, and this time, the prey wouldn't be ants. A massive white wolf lunged from the brush, its claws aimed directly at his throat. With a movement faster than any D-rank should possess, Lin Yichin swung his blade. The wolf was sliced in half before it could even whimper, its blood painting the snow red. A new system message appeared, First Blood Slaughter Multiplier activated. Lin Yichin felt his heartbeat synchronize with the rhythm of the forest's many lives. But as he turned to hunt more, he heard a scream that sounded suspiciously like Chen Ya. Far in the distance, a shadow much larger than any wolf loomed over the student party. Lin Yichin gripped his knife and began to walk toward the chaos, but not to save them. Lin Yichin stepped across the threshold of the White Wolf Forest, leaving the sneering crowds behind him. The system interface flickered before his eyes, pulsing with a faint crimson light. Deep in the thickets, a pair of glowing blue eyes locked onto his movement. Instead of retreating like a D-rank should, Lin unsheathed his rusted butcher knife with a steady hand. The white wolf lunged forward, a blur of fur and fangs aiming for his throat. With a single fluid motion, Lin stepped to the side and swung his blade with surgical precision. A clean line appeared across the wolf's torso and blood sprayed into the cold air. A notification chimed in his head announcing his first level up within the trial. He felt a surge of strength as the god of slaughter system absorbed the essence of his prey. "Not enough," he whispered, his eyes scanning the darker depths of the woods. He began to run, his speed far exceeding that of any ordinary D-rank awakening. Every monster he encountered met the same fate, falling to his blade in a single strike. His skill, Slaughter Mastery, leveled up, unlocking a passive lifesteal ability that healed his minor scratches. Elsewhere in the forest, a group of elite students struggled against a pack of alpha wolves. "Where is the backup?" the team leader screamed as his shield began to crack. From the shadows above the gorge, Lin Yichin watched them with total indifference. He remembered how these same people had laughed when his rank was revealed. Lin jumped from the branch, descending like a dark comet into the center of the fray. The ground shattered upon his impact, sending shockwaves that blew the monsters backward. Without a word, he began a dance of death that the elite students could barely follow with their eyes. "Is that the butcher boy?" one girl gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. Lin Yichin didn't even look at her, focusing entirely on the level 20 boss wolf emerging from a cave. The boss wolf let out a roar that shook the very trees of the forest. Lin's aura exploded, turning from a faint red to a deep abyssal crimson. He activated his new skill, Heartrending Slash, and charged the beast head-on. The knife bit deep into the boss's neck, carving through bone and muscle like hot lead through butter. The massive creature collapsed, its body dissolving into a mountain of experience points and rare loot. Lin reached level 20 instantly, feeling his physical attributes double in power. He picked up a glowing purple orb, a rare S-rank skill book dropped by the boss. The other students watched from afar, their faces twisted with envy and fear. "That loot belongs to the school," the team leader shouted, trying to regain his dignity. Lin Yichin turned his head slightly, his gaze making the boy freeze in his tracks. "Come and take it then," Lin challenged, his voice like grinding stones. The elite students backed away, unable to withstand the sheer pressure of his aura. Lin ignored them and continued deeper into the forest, seeking the ultimate prize of the trial. He found a hidden altar at the heart of the woods, pulsing with ancient magic. By placing his hand on the stone, he triggered the final secret challenge of the White Wolf Forest. The sky turned black as a spectral wolf of enormous proportions materialized above him. Lin Yichin smiled for the first time, relishing the chance to test his newfound godlike power. But as he prepared to strike, a sudden notification warned him of a forced exit from the trial zone. The reality around him began to pixelate and dissolve against his will. Someone outside was tampering with the trial gates to prevent him from finishing. Lin Yichin realized that Vice Principal Ma was trying to hide his achievement from the examiners. He would let them pull him out, but they weren't ready for the monster they were bringing back. As the light cleared, he found himself surrounded by armed guards and a smirking Vice Principal. "Lin Yichin, you're under arrest for using illegal cheats during the trial," Ma declared loudly. Lin felt the S-rank skill book in his pocket, a silent proof of his legitimate power. He looked at the crowd of students, seeing his ex-girlfriend whispering lies about him to the reporters. Suddenly, a massive pressure descended from the sky, silencing everyone in the stadium. A golden carriage pulled by dragons appeared, bearing the crest of the Baichuan king. Lin Yichin gripped his knife, unsure if this was a new enemy or an unexpected ally. Lin Yichin lowered his weapon as the teleportation light of the trial zone began to flicker around him. He stepped through the portal and felt the sudden shift from the cold forest air to the humid heat of the school auditorium. Thousands of students gasped in unison as they saw the blood-soaked butcher standing at the center of the platform. Vice Principal Ma stepped forward, his face twisted in a mask of artificial outrage. He shouted that it was impossible for a D-rank butcher to survive the trial, let alone claim the top score. Lin Yichin looked at the leaderboard and saw his name sitting far above the elite students who had mocked him. His ex-girlfriend stood in the front row, her face pale as she realized the useless boy was now a monster. Ma demanded that the guards seize Lin Yichin for the crime of using illegal soul-enhancing drugs. Lin Yichin did not move, his hand merely resting on the hilt of his jagged butcher blade. He told the vice principal that the only thing illegal in the room was the bribe Ma had taken from the rival families. Ma's face turned a shade of purple as he realized the student knew about his secret dealings. The guards rushed forward, their spears leveled at Lin Yichin's throat. With a single fluid motion, Lin Yichin released a wave of blood-red energy that sent the guards flying back. The entire student body stood up, terrified by the sheer pressure radiating from a supposed D-rank player. Ma raised his staff to cast a binding spell, intending to silence the boy forever. Suddenly, the roof of the auditorium groaned as a golden bolt of lightning crashed through the ceiling. A massive broadsword slammed into the floor, creating a crater that separated Lin Yichin from the vice principal. From the golden dust emerged the legendary Beishuan King, his presence making the air feel heavy as lead. Ma fell to his knees instantly, his staff clattering to the floor in the presence of the realm's strongest warrior. The king looked at Lin Yichin and declared that he had personally monitored the trial from the shadows. He announced to the crowd that Lin Yichin's power was pure, earned through the slaughter of 10,000 monsters. The king then turned his gaze to Ma and produced a scroll detailing the vice principal's many crimes. With a wave of his hand, the king stripped Ma of his rank and ordered the royal guards to take him to the dungeon. The students began to cheer, their voices shaking the very foundations of the school building. Lin Yichin watched his former tormentors shrink into the shadows, their influence vanished in an instant. The king walked over to Lin and placed a hand on his shoulder, offering him a place in the royal vanguard. Lin Yichin thanked him but stated that he preferred to walk his own path to the peak of the world. The king laughed heartily, respecting the young man's ambition and spirit. Lin Yichin turned and walked off the stage, the crowd parting like the Red Sea to let him through. His ex-girlfriend tried to call out to him, but he didn't even glance in her direction. Outside, the sun was setting, casting a long crimson shadow across the school gates. He pulled up his system interface, seeing the word Slaughter God flashing in brilliant gold. The world was no longer a place of fear, but a hunting ground filled with opportunities to grow. He gripped his blade, the cold steel whispering promises of even greater power. For the first time since his awakening, the weight of the world felt light on his shoulders. He knew that his journey as a simple butcher had ended and his legend as the god of slaughter had just begun. The injustice of the past was washed away by the blood of his enemies and the truth of his strength. Lin Yichin looked back at the school one last time, no longer seeing a prison, but a stepping stone. He disappeared into the darkness, ready to face the gods themselves if they stood in his way. The butcher had finally ascended, and the world would never forget the name Lin Yichin,